Welcome in, YouTube, to what is going to be part 3 of Morrighan Initari's adventures through Stormblood. I think I actually said last part was part 3 and I was wrong, but this part is really part 3. We're going to continue and pick it up. So let me teleport over to where I need to be, that's closer to the quest starting, and now we'll hop on in. We gotta talk to Morrighan. See to the wounded, Morrighan. If they live, help them. If not, move on. Is there a person that I can, like, talk to over here? Okay, so I just have to not be seen somewhere. Like, there's gotta be, like, a person. What's... Oh, they're over there in the background. Mefrid lies motionless, having breathed his last. Clenched in his fist is a small charm, which you take for safety. He was already cold when I got to him. There was naught I could do. The charm must have been important. You'd best take it to ponder. Damn. I couldn't remember if Mefrid actually did die here, or if it was just he was very hurt, but no, he's gone. Nago, Mefrid, where are you? This is... He's dead, isn't he? Mefrid was a warrior, always thinking about others before himself. He once had an Imperial patrol chase him nigh on 20 malms so that his wounded would have time to escape. His comrades loved him for it. Of course, though that only made him worry more. Did you know that he sent his men in Quarry Mill away because he thought they were fighting for him and not the cause? Aye, well he did. The only life he was willing to risk was his own, you see. That's exactly the kind of man who should be leader. The kind of man who deserves to survive. Not an old fool who's all used up. There's no logic to it, Master Kemp. There never is. Who stands, who falls, in the heat of battle, we can but do our best. As he did. Mefrid will be sorely missed, aye. But because of his sacrifice, many now live who otherwise would not. And they need us, now more than ever. Aye, that they do. Forgive me, I had high hopes for him is all. Pippin. Our defeat was no near thing. It was a total humiliation. We were powerless to withstand our enemy's assault. But we cannot afford to dwell on our failure. As Alfino said, it is those who survived whom we must think of now. Raga's reach is no longer safe. The Imperials may have withdrawn, but they could return at any time to finish what they began. We dare not remain here. Those who are not fit to make the journey to Castrum Oriens will need to be taken by Chocobo carriage. Agreed? Good. I shall oversee preparations for the carriages. In the meantime, I would have you scour the infirmary for any supplies that might prove useful during the journey. Alright, let's go talk to Orella here. Forgive me, but it is imperative that I continue preparing medicines for the wounded. If you desire treatment, I must ask that you seek it elsewhere. Oh, I see. In that case, you are free to search the barber and take that which you require. I would not have our people dying en route. I would assist you, but this process demands my undivided attention. I forgot, like, it's pretty serious here. Let's grab those. grab these. It's also been like 2 years since I was running this MSQ. So there is some stuff that I have kind of forgotten. Just a smidge. Lieutenant Initari, Marshal Terrapin said you might have something for me. Yeah, here's some medical supplies. Do with them what you need. 12 be praised. This would put the driver's hearts at ease. Tell the Vice Marshal we await his orders. Y'shtola and the others are safely strapped in. Don't worry. I'll be by her side the entire time. Thank you, Kryl. I'll walk alongside. They'll need protection in case the Garleans try anything. Hang on. You're injured too, aren't you? Shouldn't you be in one of the carriages? I'm not so frail that I can't make the trip on my own. Besides, there's still work to be done here. I'll see you at the wall when it's finished. As you wish. Then let us set forth at once. We shall move as quickly as our comrades' health allows. To Castrum Oriens. Alright, Conrad, what do you got? You saved a good many of my men. I cannot thank you enough for that. But the fact remains, our forces were decimated, and this state will not be mounting an assault on Castellum Valladna or anywhere else. We need to be honest with ourselves about our prospects, but first we need to put our affairs here in order. Afterwards, I'll join you at Castrum Oriens. Understood. We will go and speak with General Alden. Alright, we gotta go to the other side. So let's use the Ethernet just to cut down on travel time. And we're still sprinting. Perfect. Pippin has already departed with the wounded, has he? Good. We have completed our search of the Reach and the surrounding area. As far as we can tell, Xenos and his men returned straight away to Specula Imperatoris after quitting this place. It would seem he's lost interest in us. Which brings us to the most troubling question of all. Not how he found us, but why he chose to spare our lives having done so. In war, you kill or capture your enemy. You don't leave him to fight another day. Only a fool would turn his back and walk away. But Xenos is no fool. Whatever his motive, this is neither the time nor the place to think on it. I will leave a token force to watch over the Reach. The rest will fall back to Castrum Oriens. We can discuss our path forward there. Alright, now we go to Castrum Oriens, which, again, to make things easier, we'll just teleport. I'm teleporting to the Reach. What am I doing? What do you got for me, Lise? Kryl is with Y'shtola. She still hasn't woken up, but Kryl says she's through the worst. Given the severity of her wound, we could have hoped for no more. Let us pray she makes a full recovery. We lost a lot of good people, didn't we? I saw it happen. When that Skull's commander cut down Mefrid, a single blow and that was it. Everything he fought for, all his hopes and dreams for the future, gone in an instant. And do you want to know the worst part? It wasn't a Garlean who did it. It was an Alamegan. God's help me if I ever... No, not now. Not while the General's waiting. Oh, Lise. da. Let's lower the camera just a smidge.
Were it not for the swift actions of the Scions and the Alliance, many more would have died. You risked your lives to save ours, and for that we thank you.
There is no need for thanks. We are allies, are we not?
Aye, just so. Let us not dwell on this tragedy, but look to the future.
The future? I'm sorry, General, but there is no future for us. We've lost too many. Gods, I can still see Mefrid with that woman standing over him. They've ripped the heart out of us, General. They've broken us. Our fight is over.
Master Kemp, please.
I'll always hate them with every fiber of my being. For what they took from us then and now. Our homeland, our freedom, our bloody children.
You mean the Skulls? The youths who fight for Xenos?
Grania Lupi, the Black Wolf's legacy and our shame. A unit made up of children born to Alamegan dignitaries who came of age during the occupation. Sons and daughters of Gir Abania, raised to be proud citizens of the Empire, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails. It'd be easy to curse them and call them traitors, but they're our children. Our flesh and blood. If the only way to forge the future we want is to cut down our own, then...
Then what was it all for?
Nargo?
What will you say to the families of the fallen? To the mothers, and the widows, and the orphans? Will you tell them it was all for nothing?
Fair, honestly.
Listen to the girl. We dare not suffer our comrades' sacrifices to have been in vain. Now is the time to steel our resolve and press on, painful though it may be.
And when Xenos comes back with his army, what then? This isn't the first time, you know. You'll be hard-pressed to find men brave or stupid enough to face him again.
I still can't believe how strong he was. He humiliated us back there. The Warrior of Light included. Gods help us if he's next in line to the Garlean throne.
Loath though I am to say it, we should not be surprised. Before succeeding Van Baelsar in Alamigo, Xenos led the Imperial army to Doma, where he crushed the rebellion utterly. As a matter of fact, Doma remains in his charge to this day. Suffice it to say, Varus's heir is a peerless warrior and an accomplished general. The question is, how are we to contend with such a foe?
We fight and we keep on fighting until we win. We take the fight to Doma. I have a feeling you're about to tell us.
Well, to put it simply, we have one legatus overseeing two provinces a world apart. I say we divide and conquer. We kindle the flames of revolution in Doma once more, thereby forcing Xenos to fight a war on two fronts.
For that, there would need to be someone left to fight on this front by the time you got back. Look, I'll not deny the plan as promised. And I feel for our brothers and sisters in Doma, truly I do. But I fear we lack the strength to see it through.
Believe, Conrad.
Have faith in your people, Master Kemp. Them and the Scions. Hold fast, rebuild, and when all is in place, we shall defeat Xenos together.
If you're going to Doma, I'm coming too. I want to help our friends there, and make sure nothing like this ever happens again.
Give us the time we need, and we will give you something far greater.
Very well. For all you have done for us, we will fight on. But be swift, comrades. Alamigo has suffered enough.
Agreed. We will liberate it, believe me. Alright. Camera back. It goes without saying, but the Scions alone have not the strength to topple a provincial government, here or anywhere else, and I am quite certain the same can be said of the Doman Liberation Front. Nevertheless, we can but go and assess the situation for ourselves, and see what can be done. Lest you doubt what good few can accomplish, I would remind you that my grandfather and his 12 disciples once journeyed to these lands to save Eorzea and her people from certain doom. Brave souls with an impossible task, and Eorzea lives on. Our present mission may not be as monumental in scope, but it is no less important to the multitudes whom we would free from an imperial oppression, whom we will free. We're not going to talk about my terrible pronunciation of oppression. Oppression. Listen, voice acting's hard. When men go as one, there is life. And where there is life, there is cause to hope. Our grandfather believed that, and so do I. But before we can forge ties with our friends in the Far East, we must first find a way to reach them. Arthur is not exactly over the river and through the woods. I am one step ahead of you, dear sister. Or rather, Tataru is. But before we discuss that, there is another issue I wish to address. Much as I would like it if we could all make this journey together, someone will need to remain to serve as liaison to the Alliance and the Resistance during this critical period. Moreover, as Y'shtola cannot be left unattended, then I should obviously remain. Very well, issue addressed. You know, Alfino, it would have been quicker just to ask and markedly less patronizing. Yes, I suppose, would you be willing to look after Y'shtola and provide support to Arenvald and the others? Yes, Alfino, I would. You see, that wasn't so hard, was it? Enjoy your trip and don't you dare return with a gift. Oh, I would not dream of it. Right then, sister, Morrighan, Lise, gather your things. We are for Lemsa Lomensa. There's another blue quest here. We'll pick this up real quick, see what it entails, because it is an ether current. Ah, Morrighan Initari of the Immortal Flames. A moment, if you would. The Alliance has seen fit to charge the Twin Adder with overseeing the occupation of Castrum Oriens for the interim. As an adventurer, I realize it is your wont to attend to matters both great and small in the corners of the realm, though it should go without saying that you must also uphold your obligations to the Immortal Flames and the Eorzean Alliance. Thus, I would ask for your aid in a reconnaissance mission here in the Fringes. Pray speak with Lieutenant Molko when you are ready to receive a briefing. She will be overseeing the operation. Where is Lieutenant Molko? Here we go. Do my eyes deceive me? It can't be. But it is. Morrighan Initari, the Griffin's Bane herself. Yes, the great hero who defeated the Griffin atop Baelsar's wall, bringing his plans of conquest to a shuddering halt. I can think of no other title that so aptly befits your prowess. A pity no one else seems to think so. But enough of that. What brings the illustrious Griffin's Bane here to Castrum Oriens? Serpent Marshal Brookstone has requested you assist in my investigation. This is such an honor. I'll do my best not to disappoint you. Oh, goodness me. Where are my manners? Tala Malko, Military Records Officer, at your service. I cannot offer much in the way of combat, but if you should have any inquiries regarding historical matters, you need only ask. Now then, let me apprise you of our current situation. Shortly after taking control of Castrum Oriens, we discovered a number of confidential documents left behind by the Guardians, prisoner records dating back to the beginning of Alamigo's occupation. As you might have guessed, a great many were conscripted and sent away to subjugate new territories. A surprisingly large number were executed as a reminder of what would happen should any step out of line. What we weren't expecting, however, was a number of prisoners listed simply as whereabouts unknown. We thought perhaps they met some ill fortune during their imprisonment, or even escaped, but we could find no other documents to suggest what became of them. Be they living or deceased, it is now our duty to find them. Not just for our own records, mind you, but their loved ones as well. They deserve the peace of mind of knowing what happened here. Would that this were a recent incident, though. It would be no easy task ascertaining their whereabouts after 20 years, but I believe I know where we might begin our investigation. The Ananta have called these lands home long before even the Alamegans came to settle here, and as luck would have it, the Resistance has established cordial relations with their people. Perhaps they remember something of what happened all those years ago. Okay. I'm stuck on a tree? Alamegan prisoners captured 20 years ago? Yes, I remember. When the Garleans gained their foothold here, they interned any and every one. Striders, Ananta, it mattered not. Most were forced to serve in the Garlean military, dispatched to other lands from which they should never return. If I'm not mistaken, the prisoners who remained were taken to a small village to the south. I cannot say what transpired there, but the settlement was heavily guarded. I fear the worst for them. A settlement to the south? Why, that would have to be Bittermill. I recall records of its residents seeking asylum in Gridania when the Garleans first arrived. The place was all but razed to the ground. Let's begin our search there. Perhaps something of value still remains in the rubble. We want to be able to fly as soon as we can, so we have to do these quests as they come up. I'll ignore the Brizzly Bears, because I can't say grizzly, apparently. What are the Garleans doing here? They cannot be allowed to leave. Get them! You got it. There we go. Wah! Alright, there we go. Quest done. Goodness, that's smarts. Perhaps I should have devoted more time to combat training. Though no amount of training would make me a match for the renowned Griffin's Bane. That was a magnificent display. Garlean soldiers were certainly the last thing I expected to find in these abandoned and otherwise forgotten buildings. I managed to catch them unawares, but I'm quite certain this investigation would have ended poorly had you not arrived. Still, I find this quite curious. By all rights, the Garleans should be too busy contending with the Resistance to waste time in a place like this. What were they doing here? I'm afraid our search for answers has only raised more questions. If we are to make sense of any of this, we must search this place from top to bottom. After my heart returns to my chest. Yes, do your breathing exercises. Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. Tataru should be here any moment with our ship's captain. So we're going by sea after all. Is Merweb lending us our pick of the Crimson Fleet? Not exactly. You are right in as much as we will be traveling by sea. Regrettably, it is simply not feasible for an airship to travel such a distance, without impossibly large fuel reserves, to say nothing of the inevitability of running afoul of the Empire's aerial defenses. But then it is equally infeasible to sail an Eorzean Alliance vessel halfway around the world without the Empire taking notice. Which leaves us with only one other option. Ah, speak of the devil. Sorry to keep you waiting. May I present to you Captain Carvelane of the Kraken's Arms? The Kraken's Arms? Don't tell me you made a deal with pirates! Greetings and salutations, Scions. I take it from your comrade's tone that you no longer wish to proceed with our proposed arrangement? Not at all, Captain. Pray forgive my sister for her outburst. She has never been one to speak her mind. She has ever been one to speak her mind. I, on the other hand, am the very soul of discretion, as many well-respected personages would attest, from the offices of the Admiral to the high houses of Ishgard. Ah, but where was I? Oh yes, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn do indeed still wish to employ your services. However, it is important that you are aware of certain extenuating circumstances. And intent on securing passage to the Far East, you came to us, knowing us to be the proud purveyors of said region's finest spices, which you steal from gods-fearing merchants out on the high seas. Whatever privateering the Kraken's arms may or may not engage in is strictly within the limits of the law, as set forth by our indefatigable Keeper of the Peace. More to the point, we are pragmatists. I see considerable risk in aiding your cause and negligible profit. Get him, Tataru. Well, I for one think the captain has a point. The Five Seas can be extremely treacherous, and many a poor, unfortunate soul has to come to grief out there on the waves. Why, when we were in Ishgard, I heard the tragic tale of how the heir to House Durandare vanished at sea. Even now, nearly 20 years later, the poor count remains convinced that his son still lives, and would pay a sultan's ransom for news of his whereabouts. Truly a tragedy for the ages, and a testament to the misfortunes that may befall us should we act without due consideration. But so long as you are prepared to abide the capricious whims of fate, I am willing to oblige you this once. That said, in light of the recent rebellion, I trust you understand that I cannot deliver you to Doma itself. I can only take you as far as Kugane in Hingashi. We will require time to procure sufficient provisions and make ready for departure. I humbly suggest you do the same. Suddenly, all those hours Tataru passed cavorting and capering at the Forgotten Night seem rather better spent, do they not? That said, I had intended to press the point more obliquely, and there was something disconcerting about the pleasure Tataru took in making Captain Carvalane squirm. I say we should heed the captain's advice and attend to our own preparations, while they ready the vessel for departure. Tataru and I will procure the necessary supplies. Alice, I should be grateful if you would use the time to brief Oriange on recent developments. You may also wish to review the relevant safety procedures in the event of an emergency at sea. How very prudent of you. Very well. I shall go and speak with him. What of Morrighan and Lys? I would like the two of you to return to Revenant's Toll and speak with our Doman allies. I fear we know too little of their homeland, and any information they can provide would be most welcome. When we have completed our respective tasks, we will reconvene here at the ferry docks. Agreed? Sounds like a plan. Let's go, Morrighan. Well, here we are. We'll need to talk to lots of people, so I think we should split up. I'll ask around at the House of Splendors. You take the Rising Stones. I'll meet you here after, got it? You are truly planning to travel to Doma? I do not know what to say. Forgive me, I shall aid you to the best of my ability. Ours is a beautiful land, nestled on the eastern coast of Arthur. Along the banks of the one river, our nation thrived, proud and free, until the Garleans came 25 years ago. The river was our lifeblood, free to travel and to fish, but travel was soon restricted, and now the river belongs to none. Greetings, Morrighan. What brings you to the toll this day? What? You are for Doma? Heavens. You Scions have shown us naught but kindness, but never in my wildest dreams did I imagine you would fight for our homeland. For 25 years we suffered under their tyranny, and then we spied an opportunity. The Emperor, dead, Garlemald in chaos. It seemed the time was ripe. Beneath our Lord's banners we gathered, and fought to reclaim our nation. But when Xenos arrived with the 12th Legion, it was over in an instant. What is it, my friend? You look as though you have something to ask. That you go to join Yugiri and Gosetsu in the fight fills me with such joy. Ah, forgive my exuberance. You require information, yes? We of the Nage clan have served Doma faithfully for generations. My ancestors held positions within Doma Castle even. Now it is home to the Imperial Viceroy's witch and her host of men in Magitek. To think that what was once the shining symbol of our heritage and the seat of dear Lord Kyan has become a den for Garlean dogs. Okay. Now we go back out to Revenant's Toll. Ah, there you are. Learn anything interesting? The older Domans I spoke with tried to teach me all about Far Eastern customs and the importance of formality and politeness. I'd like to think Eorzeans can be just as stiff and stuffy as anyone, especially Ishgardians. But anyway, did you know that they eat with sticks? It wasn't all that hard, actually, or at least that's what I thought until they told me I was holding them wrong. And then when I spoke with the younger Domans, they just rolled their eyes and told me it was all a load of stupid old... Wow, what you learned sounds a lot more useful. Unless someone invites us for dinner, of course. I hope they do. Guess we'll take the piety materia. Right. No point waiting around here, is there? We should head back to Limsa Lominsa. Alphino said to meet at the ferry docks, I think. Okay. Let's actually go to Uldoff first. The walls that surround this city remind me of my homeland. We built it as a fortress to keep out invaders. Not that it made much difference in the end. Oh, not this again. Perhaps you could lighten the mood by sharing our recent bit of good news? Ah, yes. It looks like we found our next client. Nothing's been decided, but a lady named Oriel is waiting for us near the Gate of Thal. We'll meet you there. Oh, not that one. You're the bodyguards, right? We need your help. It's my husband. After he walked out, I thought I'd seen the last of him, but now, you've got to keep him away from us. I'm not sure we're qualified to settle domestic disputes. Radovan, this sounds serious. Hear her out, would you? Very well. My apologies. Please continue. His name's Gerart. He won't leave us alone, and he keeps jumping out to harass us when we're by ourselves. If we were to go outside the city gates, I'm sure he'd follow us, and when he does, I want you to scare him off. I doubt he'll show himself if he sees you have bodyguards, so we'll wait somewhere nearby. When the moment is right, we'll give him a fright he won't forget in a hurry. Yes, that ought to work. Tim and I will leave through this gate, so you should find a hiding place. It's time that bastard, excuse my language, learned his lesson. If I remember right when I ran this, he's not actually the bad guy that she's making him out to be. But I could be wrong. I might be remembering a different quest. Because I'm just remembering like vague stuff. Remember, we've got the boy to think about. I'd rather not cut a man down in front of his own son. But will if I have to. You follow my lead. Get away from her! What? Who the bloody hells are you? Friends of Oriel. Now walk away while you still can. But I only want what's best for my boy. Your boy? You've got no right to call him that. He belongs to me. This is your final warning. Bother them again and you won't live to regret it. Haha, that'll teach him. And you were wonderful, worth every gil. Thank you so much. It was our pleasure. Although there wasn't much for you to do, your presence lent weight to my words. But most importantly, the client was satisfied with our work. Yes, she did seem rather pleased with herself. Listen, you two, there's no time to explain. We have to follow that woman. Hell's bells. When Sophie gets one of her hunches, there's no stopping her. Oh yeah, because if I remember right, the mom is trying to sell her son into slavery. Why would she bring Tim all the way out here? What are we supposed to do with a runt like this? If we feed him up, he might be worth something one day. She's selling her own child. We've got to stop them. Wait, is that... Enough of this! Stay away from my son. Son, eh? You should have kept out of this, mate. Too late now. It sounds like we just let them beat him up? Quickly, we've got to help him. Not now. Morrighan, it's up to you. Okie dokie, buddy. Okie dokie. I guess let's get him turned away from the peoples. There we go. Let's aid Geralt. You saved us. How can I ever... Daddy! Morrighan, I let you down. I let everyone down. But Sophie, what happened here? I knew from the moment I met Oriel there was something not quite right about her. It wasn't until later I realized she's a somnus addict. Once it takes hold, it changes you. She was able to keep her addiction hidden from most, but not from me. Probably not from her family either. Yeah, I've known for a while, but I had no idea she'd do something like this. Gods, if I hadn't started gambling, this would have never happened. My debt spiraled out of control, and she ran to get away from me, to start a new life with our son. The shock of losing them made me realize I couldn't live like that anymore. So I vowed to turn my life around, and I worked my fingers to the bone to repay the money I owed. By the time I finally found the courage to track down Oriel, it was too late. She'd made new friends, the wrong sorts of friends, and had to resort to God's only knows what to make ends meet. It became too much to bear, and Somnus was her only escape. Nothing else mattered to her, not even her own child. So you see, it wasn't only my life I'd ruined. I'd made her who she is today. That's why I don't have it in me to hate her. What will you do now? I plan to send her to Frondale's Frontisserie. They can treat people like Oriel, although it costs more than most folks can afford. My savings should cover it for a short while at least. We'll take it one day at a time, and see how she responds to the treatment. I know she might never recover, but I can't give up on her. Obviously, she's in no fit state to look after Tim, so he'll be living with me. You could have been killed confronting those slavers. If you wind up dead, there'll be no one to look after the boy. From now on, you'll have to think before you act. I will. I swear it. Thank you all for everything you've done. Poor child. Sophie's quick thinking may have saved him on this occasion, but I fear his hardships are far from over. I, on the other hand, only succeeded in disgracing myself. Again. It's not your fault, Radovan. I think you owe Morrighan an explanation, though. Yeah. If we are to fight side by side, there is something you should know. Though I served as an Imperial conscript for a time, after I disobeyed a direct order, I was sentenced to solitary confinement for more than a decade. Like many of the inmates, I was forced to wear a Magitech collar. The wardens could use them to administer a severe electric shock anytime they pleased, and please them it did. The paralysis would eventually wear off, but even now, years after removing my collar, my whole body will suddenly seize up. It's as though the pain never left me and could reawaken at any moment. Thankfully, my condition appears to have improved somewhat since leaving the Empire. Perhaps one day I will be free of it, but until then, there's no telling when it might strike. Radovan saved my bacon more times than I can count, so it's only fair that I do the same for him. We've been through thick and thin, ever since the first time we met in that Garlean jail. I was awaiting execution along with the other captured members of the Resistance, as well as various insurgents and undesirables. Among them were several somnus addicts. Even in an Imperial jail, there are ways to get your hands on it. When I saw Oriole, I couldn't put my finger on it at first. She had the same look in her eyes as those lost souls. Anyway, where was I? So Radovan had been meaning to escape ever since he was first imprisoned, and was secretly digging a tunnel, a few ilms each night over the course of about 10 years. The only thing was it went the wrong way. Then one night he suddenly burst through my wall. Why did you have to tell her that? You know I'm far from proud of my miscalculation. Well, things worked out in the end, didn't they? The other inmates made such a racket when you came crashing in, it drew the attention of the wardens, and all hells broke loose. In the confusion, Radovan and I forced our way past the guards, and by some miracle, we managed to avoid their searchlights, and finally we were free. Free to return to my wife and child, to my homeland. Or so I thought. While I'd been rotting away in a Garlean cell, everything I knew, everything I loved had been taken from me. I should have been there, but I couldn't even... Ugh! Enough of this! We've spoken over long as it is. Well then, where to next? I think I've had my fill of Ulva. What say we try our luck in Limsa Lominsa? I'm sure a change of scenery will do us a world of good. Yes, I like the sound of that. Let's reconvene at the local Adventurers Guild. Well, perfect! I have to go to Limsa too! We can all just travel- okay, fine. Let's say we all could just travel together, but whatever. I'll just teleport on my own and get myself there on my own. Would have been nice to talk with another Viera, but wow! Too good to have a conversation with me. Probably from that neighboring village. Alright. We gotta go upstairs first to turn in the quest. We're just gonna run up there. Honestly, it'll be quicker. That's what I say. Oh, her outfit's changed. A city founded by pirates. Now there's a terrible idea if I ever heard one. With all the cutthroats running rampant, I'm surprised there's anyone left. But what about the views? The sea breeze? There'll be plenty of time to enjoy ourselves once we've a few more gil in our pockets. Morrighan, we're still waiting for word from the guild, so perhaps you should find somewhere for a few practice swings in the meantime. Alright. Not least. You are returned, Morrighan. I trust you learned much from our Dome and friends in Revenant's Toll. I am eager to hear all, though that can wait until we have left port. We will have enough time to talk on our journey to Kugane. Our spice trading friends have completed their preparations. Assuming you have completed yours, you may inform the deckhand that we are ready to depart. All set, lass? I'll see you to the ship if so. Board the Misery? That's a name. Kind of a scary one, too.
12 be praised. Full sure was I that I had come too late.
Urianger! Tell me you haven't come all this way just to see us off.
Nay, my lady. Ere you quit these shores for eastern climes, I wished to share some words of seeming import. Look ye where the sun doth rise. See crimson embers, darkening skies. Look ye where the sun doth fall. See azure lost amidst the squall.
There's a reason he tells us this. And for the life of me, I can't remember.
Well, that sounds suitably foreboding. Another one of your prophecies, I presume?
Of far eastern origin, aye. It is mine earnest hope that this ancient wisdom may serve to guide you on your journey. For what dangers lie in wait for you upon those distant shores are yet beyond my knowing.
I feel like it has something to do with the Azim Steppe.
A parting gift befitting your roundabout ways. Thank you.
I have more than words for you, my lady.
Oh, this is when she becomes the Red Mage.
It's beautiful. Is it for me?
Though undeniably powerful, your ethereal blade taxeth you greatly in the wielding. Not so this rapier, which shall serve you just as well against all but the most formidable foe.
Impressive. It feels as though it's attuned to my ether. I shall treasure it.
Honored guests, say your farewells, for the moment of our parting draws nigh. A fair wind blows, and I mean to follow it.
It would seem our ship is set to sail. Pray give my regards to Thancred and the others. And take care.
Ooh.
A fine day, is it not? Fair winds and following seas. The Misery is enjoying herself. Nevertheless, it would not do for you to spend the entirety of our voyage above deck. Let me show you to your quarters.
Ooh, it's pretty down here. And it seems very roomy. I forgot the Taru came with us. Although it makes sense because I remember seeing her in Kugane. Bum, bum, bum.
Ah! Is it supposed to do that?
Not under normal circumstances.
Captain! You're needed on deck! Something queer's afoot. The winds died down, the waters went still, and all of a sudden, we were dragged off course.
Dun dun dun!
Dragged? By what?
can't rightly say, sir. But some of the lads are muttering about seeing things in the water. Things that shouldn't be there.
Oh, for the love of... If you will excuse me a moment. Actually, might I persuade you to join me? Loath though I am to admit it, I have a bad feeling about this.
Odd. Most odd. Well, do you have any idea what's going on? No. As the man said, despite the absence of wind and current, the misery is somehow being pulled off course. Well, why not fire up the ceruleum engines you have hidden below? An excellent suggestion based on knowledge you should not have. Alas, our engines appear to be malfunctioning for reasons that escape my engineers at present. I'm telling you, Captain, it's them things the lads saw. Things? I don't suppose I could convince you to attempt something more descriptive. An adjective, for example. Seawolf superstitions and fairy tales, not more. But if you must know, the things which he is so reticent to name are the souls of deceased women said to lure sailors to their deaths. Preposterous! Yes, indeed. If it is neither the sea nor the weather which is responsible, then it is probably a predatory entity of some sort. Perhaps a siren of some such. For all we know, it could be a fellow spice trader employing magics to seize and plunder passing vessels. Regardless, we have but one recourse, to let the current take us where it will and deal with whatever we find there. Agreed. What a thoroughly pragmatic suggestion. Well, I am beginning to like you, girl. Once we arrive at our destination, my crew shall remain with the ship to defend it while we venture forth to deal with the cause of our troubles. Then it is settled. I know not what awaits us, but it will rue the day it reeled us in. The Siren Song Sea, accessible. I wonder who you can run this with. We're gonna look at that real quick before we end the video. Huh. Like, I wonder who tanks it if you're not a tank. I don't know. But, with that, thanks for watching, YouTube. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you did. And don't forget you can catch me on Twitch, streaming pretty much every day of the week. Well, lately it's been a little rough. But at twitch.tv/CalebGames here. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And again, let me know what you're thinking of like these shorter videos and everything for YouTube. If you prefer the longer content or the shorter content. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Have a good day. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.